Cambridge Ielts Reading 7. Reading Passage 3, Educating Psyche. You should spend about 20 minutes on questions 27 to 40, which are based on Reading Passage 3 below. Educating Psyche. Educating Psyche by Barney Naville is a book which looks at radical new approaches to learning, describing the effects of emotion, imagination, and the unconscious on learning. One theory discussed in the book is that proposed by George Lozanov, which focuses on the power of suggestion. Lozanov's instructional technique is based on the evidence that the connections made in the brain through unconscious processing, which he calls non-specific mental reactivity, are more durable than those made through conscious processing. Besides the laboratory evidence for this, we know from our experience that we often remember what we have perceived peripherally long after we have forgotten what we set out to learn. If we think of a book we studied months or years ago, we will find it easier to recall peripheral details, the color, the binding, the typeface, the table at the library where we sat while studying it, than the content on which we're concentrating. If we think of a lecture we listen to with great concentration, we will recall the lecture's appearance and mannerisms, our place in the auditorium, the failure of the air conditioning much more easily than the ideas we went to learn. Even if these peripheral details are a bit elusive, they come back readily in hypnosis or when we relive the event imaginatively, as in psychodrama. The details of the content of the lecture, on the other hand, seem to have gone forever. This phenomenon can be partly attributed to the common counterproductive approach to study, making extreme efforts to memorize, tensing muscles, inducing fatigue, but it also simply reflects the way the brain functions. Lozanov therefore made indirect instruction central to his teaching system. In Suggestopedia, as he called his method, consciousness is shifted away from the curriculum to focus on something peripheral. The curriculum then becomes peripheral and is dealt with by the reserve capacity of the brain. The suggestopedic approach to foreign language learning provides a good illustration. In its most recent variant 1980, it consists of the reading of vocabulary and text while the class is listening to music. The first session is in two parts. In the first part, the music is classical, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, and the teacher reads the text slowly and solemnly with attention to the dynamics of the music. The students follow the text in their books. This is followed by several minutes of silence. In the second part, they listen to Baroque music. And while the teacher reads the text in a normal speaking voice, during this time they have their books closed. During the whole of this session, their attention is passive. They listen to the music but make no attempt to learn the material. Beforehand, the students have been carefully prepared for the language learning experience through meeting with the staff and satisfied students. They develop the expectation that learning will be easy and pleasant and that they will successfully learned several hundred words of the foreign language during the class. In our preliminary talk, the teacher introduces them to material to be covered but does not teach it. Likewise, the students are instructed not to try to learn it during this introduction. Some hours after two-part session, there is a follow-up class at which the students are stimulated to recall the material presented. Once again, the approach is indirect. The students do not focus their attention on trying to remember the vocabulary, but focus on using the language to communicate. For example, through games or improvised dramatizations. Such methods are not unusual in language teaching. What is distinctive in the suggestopedic method is that they are devoted entirely to assisting recall. The learning of the material is assumed to be automatic and effortless, accomplished while listening to music. The teacher's task is to assist the students to apply what they have learned paraconsciously, and in doing so to make it easily accessible to consciousness. Another difference from conventional teaching is the evidence that the students can regularly learn 1,000 new words of a foreign language during a suggestopedic session, as well as grammar and idiom. Lozanov experimented with teaching by direct suggestion during sleep, hypnosis, and trance states, but found such procedures unnecessary. Hypnosis, yoga, silver mind control, religious ceremonies, and faith healing are all associated with successful suggestions, but none of their techniques seem to be essential to it. Such rituals may be seen as placebos. Lozanov acknowledged that the ritual surrounding suggestion in his own system is also a placebo, but maintains that without such a placebo, people are unable or afraid to tap the reserve capacity of their brains. Like any placebo, it must be dispensed with authority to be effective, just as a doctor calls on the full power of autocratic suggestion by insisting that the patient take precisely this white capsule precisely 3 times a day before meals. Lozanov is categoric in insisting that the suggestopedic session is be conducted exactly in the manner designated by trained and accredited suggestopedic teachers. While Suggestopedia has gained some notoriety through success in the teaching of modern language, few teachers are able to emulate the spectacular results of Lozanov and his associates. We can perhaps attribute mediocre result to an inadequate placebo effect. The students have not developed the appropriate mindset. They are often not motivated to learn through this method. They do not have enough faith. They do not see it as a real teaching, especially as it does not seem to involve the work they have learned to believe is essential to learning. So this is here the questions 27 to 30. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, and or D. Write the correct letter in boxes 37 to 27 to 30 on your answer sheet. So here 27, the book Educating Psyche is mainly concerned with the power of suggestion in learning, be a particular technique for learning based on emotion, the effects of emotion on the imagination, and an unconscious or way of learning which are not traditional. So you need to go to the passage and you need to find out what's the about the main thing. All right, so where I am, so 27. All right, so next one. Lozanov's theory claimed that when we try to remember things, unimportant details are the essential to recall. Concentrating hard produces the best results. See, the most significant effects are most easily recalled. The peripheral vision is not important. 29. In this passage, the author uses the examples of a book and a lecture to illustrate that both of these are important for developing concentration. His theory about methods of learning is valid. Reading is a better technique for learning than listening. We can remember things more easily under hypnosis. So, which one is the correct answer? 29. So your answer will be B. All right. His theory about methods of learning is valid. Next, Lozanovs claims that teachers should train students to memorize details of the curriculum, develop their own sets of indirect instructions, think about something about than the curriculum content, avoid overloading the capacity of the brain. So in my description box you can find the answer, you go there and see. All right, I will not give you answer here, so it take long time. Questions 31 to 36. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 3? In boxes 31 to 36. On your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees with the information, false if the statement contradicts the information not given, if there is no information on this. All right. So 31. In the example of suggestopedic teaching in the fourth paragraph, the only variable that changes is the music. 32. Prior to the suggestopedia class, students are made aware that the language experience will be demanding. 33. In a follow-up class, the teaching activities are similar to those used in conventional classes. 34. As an indirect benefit, students notice improvements in their memory. 35. The teachers say they prefer suggestopedia to traditional approaches to language teaching. 36. Students in a suggestopedia class retain more new vocabulary than those in ordinary classes. Question 37 to 40. Complete the summary using the list of words A to K below. Write the correct letter A to K in boxes 37 to 40 on your answer sheet. Suggestopedia uses a less direct method of suggestion than other techniques such as hypnosis. However, Lozanov admits that a certain amount of is necessary in order to convenience students, even if this is just sorry so furthermore, if the method is to succeed, teachers must follow a set procedure. Although Lozanov's method has become quite the results of most other teachers using this method have been so dash here. So here is the answer already. Spectacular, the authoritarian and unspectacular, appropriate teaching, unpopular, placebo, well-known, lesson, ritual, or involved. So guys, that's all. Thank you very much. In my description box you find the answer. Check there. All right, that's all. Thank you very much.